All right, we are live. Welcome, family, to another show. I am currently in Thailand. It was Halloween last night. Had a great time. That's why I'm in my Halloween gear right now. Still got my crocodile Dundee hat on. I want to welcome all you guys for tuning in early for the show. We got a good one lined up for you guys today. We're going to talk about how changing your environment can actually save your life. I want to start off the show first and foremost with rest and power to the brother Takeoff, the guy from the Migos that lost his life unfortunately in Houston. We're gonna tap on that. We don't dare too much into that because we want to keep it based on travel. So we're gonna talk about that. Also, man, we had a great time yesterday in Halloween. I want to give a shout out to Dante, the owner of the Mahu Bar, as well. I'm gonna show a little couple of clips of the video I put together for Halloween out here in Thailand, man. It was definitely a great celebration, man. And we're gonna also discuss the video that my brother Zoe Travels, International Barber Zoe, did as well as far as the Passport Bros movement. We actually gonna have him on the podcast today, actually, but we'll be premiering it tomorrow. So we're gonna chop it up about a few things, man. This is a good show, man. So tune in. We're going to be right back.
As you can see, I'm repping that BMT. No matter where I go, no matter where I be. Representing for my brother BMT.
Got my man Austin in the building. What up, bro?
What's good?
Travel is life.
This how we roll. Look, I just have to get off the elevator. Look at it. The BMT shirt on. You know, we representing all the way in Thailand, man.
This shirt is so dope, man. It shows off your guns, fits your muscles, gives you room at the bottom for the belly, and then you repping the BMT brand, man. So make sure y'all pick up that BMT shirt because it's fire. It looks good. He got them in different colors, and I'm telling y'all, man, the fit, it ain't that cheap bullshit. It's a real quality shirt, man. I love it, BMT. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for blessing me with the shirt, and I'll see you on the other side. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, go cop some new merch.
All right, we are back, family. Currently here in Thailand. I want to give everybody in the chat that's in the chat early, give them a shout out. We got Hilltop traveling everywhere. He says RP Takeoff. Yeah, man, we're gonna get into that in a second. Men's Daily Advice and Encouragement Channel. He says, "What up, BMT? I see you out there around on the YouTube, man. Salute to you." Got the Scoring Black Man podcast in the building. What's good? What's good? We in here, man. Yo, telling you guys, Thailand was off the chain for Halloween, man. Very good time, man. Linked up with a couple of other brothers. Taylor Made, Barber World was out there. Austin was out there. We had a great time, man. We had a very good time, man. So once again, I want to give a shout out to everybody that I linked up. Roll the Tape was out here. Big Boss, Travelversity. Just a good, genuine time, man. You know, all supporting the Black-owned business. To me, that's more so what the movement is about. And we're going to tap into that a little later on in the show when I get a few more people in the room, man. But once again, guys, if you do plan on coming to Thailand maybe next year or something, Halloween possibly would be a good time to celebrate here. And luckily, it didn't rain. You know what I'm saying? I believe it's towards the end of the rainy season now. So should be good to go. Real quick, before we get into the gist of the show, I want to give a shout out to the Passport Bros. Hold on, let me see that. I didn't know it was a message right there. I don't know who's this. Let me give a shout out to the Passport Bros Facebook group. We are currently at about 9,500 members, man. So if you joined the group, if you haven't joined the group, man, really good informational group. It's a warning, you know, it's a little back and forth. You know, you got 9,000, 9,500 guys in there, different personalities, different background, different ages. So it'd be a little going back and forth, but that's what guys do. You feel me? So not for the faint of heart. But if you haven't already joined, you can join Passport Bros Facebook group, man. A lot of good information that I don't put out on the channel. It's probably going to be in the group, and you also have travel veterans all throughout the group as well. So make sure you join the group. All right. So I want to give a shout out to all the new members who are in the group, man. We got Antoine Films in the building. What up, bro? He says BMT. Aaron, what up? What's good? What's good? We got Gabriel Gaston in the building. What's good? What's good, BMT? All right. All right. So we in here, man. Shout out to my dude Tobias the Traveler in the building. He says smash that like button. He's also a member. Man, I appreciate that, fam. I appreciate that, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm still a little not hung over or jaded or anything like that, but I just really had a good time with all the bros last night, man. We had a great time last night, man. Great time. All right. So before we really get into the gist of the show, everybody's been sending me this video that Barber World did. Shout out to Barber World. I was with him last night. We hung out last night, had a good time. He gave me some real dope information about traveling to a certain country and everything that I've been thinking about traveling to. So shout out to Barber World. And he did a video about is the passport bros move dangerous? As a matter of fact, I'm not going to do the review video. We actually going to have Zoe on the podcast today. We're going to premiere it tomorrow. So we're going to do one even better and discuss the entire passport bros movement here. Let me see if I can just pull it up real quick just so you guys can, because people have been sending me this video, over, and he said, hey man, what's going on? Did he take a diss? Listen, everybody is entitled to their own opinions. All right. Everybody might have their own definition of what a movement is or what a name is, and that's cool. It's your channel. You're liable to do whatever you want to do on your channel, bro. And shout out to Barber World. He's one of the OGs in the game. We linked up in I'm pretty sure in every country. I looked at the video as well. It was a few things I agree with, a few things I didn't agree with. So we're going to talk about it, tomorrow or today. Right, I keep saying tomorrow, but you guys are going to see it tomorrow. So it's all to the good. Let me see. I think it was this video right here. We're not going to review it. I'm just going to look at the damn commercial as soon as it pop up. Hold on. Let me just give you guys just a little bit of the thumbnail here. Hold on. All right. Put this up here. Give me 1 second, family. Yeah, there it is right there. So it's the passport bros movement destructive. All right. And that was his take on it. Like I said, we're going to discuss it today. It's going to be a good discussion, man. I want us to get out of the habit of always you always got to agree. I think that's why we get so much back and forth in the group. It's like when you don't agree with somebody else, you got to, take it to the next level of beef and all that. Nah, man, everybody's entitled to have their own thoughts towards something. You feel me? Like I said, in the video that he made, I'm not going to review it, but some things I agree with, sometimes things I disagree with, because I've done plenty of videos about the misconception of the passport bros. And I've said many of times that passport bros is not a red pill movement. It's not a movement about hating any Western women. All it is a movement of guys that decided to expand their horizons and expand their options and travel overseas. That's all it is. Networking, like we did last night, at Dante's Mahu Bar. We all networking, all exchanging information. We talked about different countries. We talked about Cambodia, the Philippines, Laos, Japan. We're just talking about different stuff. That's what this movement is really about. All right. At least that's my definition of the movement, and concerns, is it dangerous, or is it dangerous being under a moniker? What some people fail to realize is the fact that, this moniker was the name was already out there. The Passport Bros name was already out there. I created a Facebook group maybe about a year or so ago. So it was already out there. So, but the name sometimes can be given to you by the media. All right. I'm just going to put it out there like the media. So it wasn't us just saying, hey, we Passport Bros. That's right. That name was kind of given to the movement by, bigger YouTubers and now TikTokers and all that good stuff. So it wasn't no true definition of the name. That's why I came out with so many videos to define exactly what a passport bros is. Right? Some guys, like even Zoe, said, hey, I'm not a passport bro, I'm a traveler. No problem with that, bro. Your movement is your movement. You don't have to identify with everything for us to be cool or, cordial or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But like I said before, for me, the movement means networking and traveling the world. I've always said that. Some people might have a different definition, but that's my definition. Passport bros, at least from my concerns, is not a red pill, hating American women movement. You got black businesses all over these countries overseas, man. That's what I'm proud of. The fact that we have this network and we can actually go to these countries and support each other, because we know that in America, unfortunately, some of our neighborhoods and Wall Streets were burnt to the ground or highways being built right through them. So we don't necessarily have that cultural connection, that we should have. All right. But overseas, all right, a lot of those cultural chains that, have been put on us in America is not there in these other countries. So that's what the movement means to me. That's the definition of what I would think that I try to put out there for the movement. But like I say, this name was kind of put on us to a certain degree. And now it seems like it's passport bros versus this. And I've done it myself. I've done shows, passport bros versus, plantation bros and US bros or whatever. It's that's what comes with this whole content creation. All right. The media and everything. It's still a business at the end of the day. And people, especially nowadays, when people are dropping content every single day, it's just much easier to try to put this against this. All right. That's what it's all about. It's just about content creation, about being creative, and you get way more views when you, like the East Coast versus the West Coast war and all that, right? That blew up so much out there. You had rappers for the first time going diamond, selling 10 million records a piece. All right. It really was the push, because you got to think Tupac and Biggie, not to try to, go off too far off a tangent, but I'm just saying Tupac and Biggie really sold those records. They was going platinum at first. Their first couple of albums, I think Tupac went platinum. Biggie went platinum. That next album generated from that beef. These guys both sell 10 million records. So people in the media would know that. They'll recognize that, and they'll try to do the same thing to implement this whole, we got beef with this movement. We got beef with this movement. You got to remember, half the time, matter of fact, 90% of the time, it's just us returning fire. That's all it is, against the PUA coaches. And the PUA coaches, to a certain game coaches, that is a movement in itself. All right. Nobody even knew what PUA stood for a long time. I didn't even know what it stood for. But the pickup artist movement, that's a movement for itself. To me, that's a destructive movement, because you're trying to get guys to be something that they're not, instead of them being themselves, focusing on their purpose and their resources. They are mentioned about being on somebody's purpose. But that movement right there is generally them guys trying to monetize nothing, basically. They're trying to monetize the fact that they're telling you that, hey, man, I can give you some information for you to get women in the bedroom, which is BS. That we all know is BS because they have no receipts whatsoever. So that's, to me, is a more destructive movement. Our movement is just simply saying, hey, man, it's opportunities overseas. If you want to stay in the States, that's cool. But it's cheap to live overseas. It's safe to live overseas. And I'm going to say this real quick. Going out last night, bro, with the fellas and everything. And you know how we are. Everybody goes in their own little, thing, do their own little thing. You might come to a spot and you might be 20, 30 deep, but everybody's going to, branch off and, go here, go there, go here. Now in South America, I don't keep, talking about Colombia, but in South America, you kind of got to keep tabs on people like, hey, bro, you good? You over there? Okay, you at McDonald's? Okay, cool. But here it's relatively so safe that you don't have to worry about if your man disappear for a while, because that more than likely, he just talking to some girl or something like that. So being out late at night, 4, 5 in the morning, family. I had no indication, no even thought of getting shot at, getting pulled over by the police, getting harassed by the police, beefing with dudes in the club. You know what I'm saying? You didn't talk to somebody girl or they you and this dude, you messing with the same girl and she kind of playing. It was none of that, bro. It was none of that. Safe all the way to 4, 5 in the morning. Which leads me, I'm sure I don't got any. Hold on real quick. Which leads me to what I was saying, man, about changing your environment. Shout out to Dre the Key said border bros are winning. About changing your environment, family. How important it is to change your environment. All right. Because that we woke up to the news that brother from the Migos, Takeoff, was unfortunately killed pretty much in crossfire. You know, and unfortunately, from what the reports are saying, from eyewitnesses are saying that it was actually his own crew that fired the first shot, and the other crew returned fire. And somebody in his own crew actually hit him. You know, he got up, he had nothing to do with the situation. And that reminded me of something. I said, man, I gotta do a show about this, man, because I gotta talk to some of my younger bros out here. Now it's guys all ages, because we club to 55, 60 nowadays. But you know, I've been in dangerous situations. The most dangerous situations I've been in have always been with either family or friends, right? In a situation that I had no business being in half the time. And it's always the guy that's trying to break up the fight or something that gets hit. You feel me? It's always the guy that's like, hey, man, what are y'all? And I think that's what probably happened, because that's how it always happens. He had nothing to do with the situation. I don't think he was even rolling dice. He just happened to just stand up at the wrong time and got hit. And that happens all the time, man. So it's important, you know, especially for my younger guys. I know you grow up, you got this whole, man, I love you, bro. You know, this, bro, you got to change your environment sometimes, man, especially if you're being non-productive within that environment. Now, in this particular case, you know, he was with his cousin, or I think his nephew or something, or his uncle or something like that. I forgot their relationship, but I know they family. So in this particular situation, you know, they got a group, you know, they work together, they make millions of dollars together, so they're going to be together. So I understand that portion of it. But in general, you're not making millions with your homeboys 9 times out of 10, or your family members, all right? 9 times out of 10, you know, it's a unproductive formula for you. It's an unproductive situation for you. All right. And the thing about it is, the most dangerous thing that you have to understand is when you start to get a reputation and try to uphold that reputation. That's what a lot of guys get in trouble with. All right. That's like one of the most dangerous things. You know, it happened to me. You feel me? I was about 23 years old. I beat up some guy twice my size. You know what I'm saying? He was a big street dude. You know, we got into it. And after I pretty much, beat his ass, because he basically, put his hands in my face. After I did that, I got a reputation, right? I got a reputation, and people were like, oh, this dude's a tough guy. And I'm like, nah, I ain't a tough guy. I just, dude just disrespected me. I don't play about people putting their hands in my face. And I recognized, I said, man, so now I got to withhold this reputation, because now people are saying, hey, man, Farris, man, he got them hands. Oh, he got hands? Let me see, right? So that's when I said to myself, I said, you know what, man, I don't like this energy that I'm getting. I know all of a sudden, I'm a tough guy, or they know people know I can throw hands and everything. And I knew I could throw hands for the longest. All right. But I was moving from side to side of town. So east side of town growing up, I had to, kind of prove myself to a certain degree. But I liked it, because I'm like, okay, now I ain't got to be this guy no more. Nobody's going to keep trying me because I got hands. So what I did was, I said, you know what? I'm going to move to a whole nother side of town. I'm going to remove myself from this environment, because I don't want to have to try to keep, maintaining this little image that I got now for just, defending myself, basically. And I think that's where a lot of young bros get in trouble. Guys don't go outside trying to shoot up stuff half the time, man. Half the time, you're just going out to see some ladies, have some fun, I guess, show off your new outfit or something like that. But unfortunately, in these situations, in the cities that most of us grow up in, it's the most dangerous situations, bro, because you always got that homeboy or that cousin or that family member who got a little chemical imbalance or something hanging with you, and he starts the trouble. And it's never that guy that gets hit. It's always the good guy that gets hit, the guy that got something going for himself, the guy that got millions of dollars. You feel me? He was in an environment, they're gambling, getting mad over $7,000, and you probably make that in no time. At least the Migos guy, the rapper. All right. It was the environment that he was in that got him pretty much killed. The circle he was in, that general circle. And that's why it's so important to get out of that environment, get out of that circle, man, because it's like I'm telling you, bro, that's going to be some of the most dangerous situations. Is the guys you grew up with, you hang with, your family members and all that. Bro, I've been in so much trouble. The most dangerous places for a black man to be in America, all right, is a club, a basketball court, what else? And a dice game. All right, these are going to be, or any type of gambling environment in the hood or whatnot, whatever y'all playing. These are going to be some of the most dangerous environments, bro. Those environments where got shot at, all that, fighting, the clubs. We all know how dangerous clubs are in America. You feel me? The basketball court, dudes got hoop dreams. They have been practicing on their Allen Iverson crossover. Somebody fouled somebody. Now y'all getting into it and all that good stuff. Somebody fight, punch, right, go get a gun. Boom. Just like that. And it's usually the neighborhoods that, like I say, we grow up in. I've been in probably a dozen fights at the basketball court. I just stopped going to the basketball court because I know it's going to end up fighting over something stupid, like a foul or the point count being wrong. Then the dice game. I never was into dice because I knew dudes that knew how to throw dice a certain way. I know how dudes that play with loaded dice, and that's a danger in its own self. All right. You playing with dudes you don't know, you got money all over. I don't know why dudes are so caught up in that quick money dice game stuff, but I've seen shootouts and dice games fairly often, like most times. And it'd be with people that you grow up with, even be with family members. All right. You want to remove yourself from that, man. That's the best advice I can give, guys. It's so many young bros. I don't think Takeoff was even 30 years old. And to be honest with you guys, I know it seems like, 30 you're old or something, but your life really as a man really takes off like 30 plus, 35. That's when you really in your groove. You probably got your resources together at this point. You probably got, what you want to do. You got your purpose, you get that grown man wait on you. You kind of know who you are a little bit more because you're trying to find yourself, especially, black men that don't grow up with any masculinity, any fathers in the home. You kind of trying to find yourself. And so many young black men get caught up in trying to chase masculinity with being tough or being violent or being street. They chasing their they're trying to find themselves. Unfortunately, they don't know that, hey man, being a man is not about being tough. It ain't about fighting. It ain't about shooting other men that look like you. All right. It's about handling your responsibilities, taking care of what you need to be taken care of, knowing how to do something with your hands, know how to change a tire, know how to take care of a woman, know how to take care of a home. All right. Knowing how to sacrifice. All right. Be disciplined. That's what being a man is about, bro. Putting food on the table. That's what being a man is about. It's not about this gangster stuff. And I hate that we've been tricked and manipulated into thinking that gangsters is something to look up to. You feel me? And trying to be a tough guy, it's always going to be somebody bigger, badder, and tougher than you, especially overseas. These guys, they playing in the baby pool comparison to these guys in these favelas and these barrios. You know what I'm saying? With guns you ain't even never heard of. Literally going to war with police. We don't generally fight the police in America, right? It's just guys against other guys. But you're talking about a whole nother level in some of these other countries. All right. So it's just an unfortunate event, man. Let me go ahead and catch a couple of these super chats. And I'm not going to be here long, man. I'm going to drop a little link in a minute. Yeah, it's bad, man. It's bad. That was some bad news to wake up to because I really was a fan. I really did like the Migos and their music. All right. Mostly Money TV said that was a good video by Zoe. Like I said, Andre, I agree with some of the things he said. Some things I disagree with. It's all good. Like I said, we're going to chop it up with him on a podcast today to really, dive a little deeper into that discussion. And we were just hanging out last night, had a great time and everything. Like I said, everybody is entitled to their opinion, in my opinion. If I disagree with somebody, that doesn't mean I have to, like, you know what I'm saying, cut them off. We take it to the next level when we disagree with one another. And I'm like, nah, man, you know, that's his statement, that's his thoughts. That's cool. We're gonna chop it up about it. Shout out to my dudes who travels in the building. What up, man? Said Dusty NYC, keeping it real. Yeah, man, I'm just keeping it a $150, bro. I'm just keeping it a $150. You really do gotta change your environment. I'm telling you, man, you got guys in every neighborhood, in every little clique that's supposed to be the tough guy that can fight, and you know what I'm saying, he got them hands and everything. And sometimes I think even 50 Cent made a statement about it. Like, that guy don't even want to really be that guy, but he's been deemed that guy by the neighborhood. So if it's another tough guy, he wants to know, hey man, who the tough guy around here? Who the head hunter around here? Oh, it's that nigga. It's him over there. And now he got to deal with that. That's why it's so important to remove yourself from that, man. Because after a while, it gets old. Charles of Sports in the building, since I've seen shootouts at many basketball games. Man, bro, we all know. You know, they took the rims down, I think, out of our neighborhoods, like in 93, 94, I believe. They took all the rims down because it was just always, it was just a consistent. If you want to get the shootout, go play basketball. All right. Shout out to D-Main in the building with the $4.99 super chat, man. I really appreciate that, bro. He says 100 shots to you, my bro. That's why I stopped going out in the States. I got tired of always having to babysit an idiot with no situational awareness. Man, that's the truest thing I ever said, man. It's dangerous going out in the States. We all know this. You know, we all know this. And to be a multimillionaire and die at a dice game for alleged $7,000, man, and it had nothing to do with what was going on. You know, you were just kind of minding your own business. You just got caught up in the crossfire and then hit by your own people. Yeah, man, that's a bad way to go out, bro. You know, you working multi-millions, bro. I mean, it's a sad situation, but this happens all the time. This happens all the time, bro. You know, I mean, traveling the world, getting out your environment, getting away from that crew you grew up with, or your people, your family members and everything. And we got people with good families. We got people with bad families. Most of the time, it's like a mix, right? You got some good family members, then you got some knuckleheads in your family. That's how it always is. And those knuckleheads could easily get you crossed up, man. They can get you crossed up. So, in my opinion, that's what I try to stress the guys, hey, man, if you're going through something or you just want to change the scenery, you might not necessarily have to leave America. But most of the guys that I know that are really successful all left their hometowns, all right? And they all somewhat keep their family and friends that they grew up with at an arm's length to a certain degree, all right? Because when you get around your family members and the guys, you know, you grew up with, you start to morph back into who you was unintentionally, right? So you hang around guys in high school and then use that guy in high school. Now you kind of like, yeah, old D-Rock back now. You ain't used that word D-Rock in 20-some years, but now you back with your old homies and your old house guys. Now you back D-Rock. And now you try to prove yourself. You're not 25 no more. So you go to the club, you get beat up, you get shot at because you're in your 40s now. You're trying to hang with, you're trying to still represent who you used to be. But like I say, overseas traveling, man, you get to start a whole new fresh life, bro. You get to start a whole new fresh life. And it's on you. All right. It's on you to leave some of that cultural baggage or some of the stuff you grew up with. You can leave it and check it back at the door. Like, all right, I'm leaving. I'm starting a whole new fresh life. You're going to develop, I promise you, you're going to develop a whole nother family, a circle. I'm sorry, you can't develop another family, but you're going to develop a whole nother circle of friends and family, all right, that think like you, that are more progressive like you, all right, that are thinking future forward. Like, you know what, you're thinking about buying land overseas, opening up bank accounts overseas, tap into different credit systems overseas. You know, that's what the definition, I've said this plenty of times, to me, of what a passport, bro, is. It's a positive definition. And like I said, I know that with it being a name on it, that can be dangerous to a certain degree, because you see a lot of people on TikTok going at the passport bros movement. But that's gonna happen, man. Once your stuff start growing, the media will put a moniker on it, bro. And it's not too much you can do for it, but keep representing your values of what you're representing for that particular movement. All right. And that's where I kind of like disagree with Zoe to a certain degree, because that's going to happen, bro. You can't help that other people are going to be making videos about it, like versus it, because that's just what comes with growth. That's what comes with growth. All right. You're going to get some type of controversy, and it's going to keep growing because it's a very logical solution. It's not the only solution, but it is a solution to so many guys that's frustrated in the States. Another thing, and I'm gonna mention this to Zoe in the podcast, is the fact that we're coming from different generations. All right. Zoe's a little tad bit older than me, pretty much similar generation. But we was able to see the tail end of the long love Jones or the romances we had in the Black community. We got guys like Austin that's 23 years old who've never seen that, bro, who don't even know what that looks like. You feel me? Taking your chick to the movie, she ain't about you about no money or nothing like that. That Black romance that we used to have back in the 90s and early 2000s, that's dissipated to a certain degree. So you got cats, young guns that's coming up. They don't have, Tevin Campbell, or Usher still around, but they don't have that. Some of them old, Genuine, them old R&B records you listen to all day. Our generation used to make mixtapes of R&B songs and send them to our girlfriends and stuff like that. That's not what's going on right now. These girls nowadays, bro, we have social media. These girls are in love with that cell phone, bro. They're in love with that Instagram. You know what I'm saying? OnlyFans would have never worked back in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? It would have never took off because dudes would look at it like, why I'm gonna do that? What I'm gonna pay for that for? I just go to the club and meet a little chick or something, or I just go to a little get together, or go to a single ministry in a church or something. It was more ways. It was more genuine. It was more cold approaching. All right. Oh, you see a chick sitting down at a cafe by herself. Hey, how you doing, Miss Lady? Whatever. It's different now. So you crossing up different generations, thinking that and I'm pretty sure Zoe know things have changed this way, but you gotta understand what the young guys are saying too. You got to understand where they coming from. They coming from a whole polar different environment than the environment that we grew up in. All right. And you got to point that out. As you try to say, Instagram got your girl. Yeah, man. All right. And I'm going to drop a link. If you want to come on, guys, I'm going to adjust my camera in a second because it's getting all, it's early morning over here. Mostly Money TV. Appreciate that 4,000 Colombian peso, my brother. He said, sound like to me, but now they call me a sellout. Sounds like me. Oh, sounds like me, but now they call me a sellout. I believe he's referring to, maybe relationships he had with people in his past, man. Yeah, man. Changing your environment, just resetting everything can make a tremendous difference in your life. I'm telling you, bro, it can make a difference. Women do it all the time. Women do it all the time. That little female that be moving from this side of town, this side of town, this side. She's starting a fresh new whole little book in her life. She mess around with a couple of guys or on the east side. And she's like, you know what, screw this. I got a reputation over here now. I'm gonna go to the west side, start a whole new. So women been on this. It's time for some of us, more of us. And just men in general, man. This just message just not for Black men, but just men in general, because you got guys in the States that, they grew up in this, similar environments up there in Boston and everything, and they're trying to rep the neighborhood. They got their own situations too. And like I say, most guys, the smart guy, the guy that's going to be successful, the progressive guy, he's going to definitely, the best thing he can do is just simply remove himself, cherry pick himself out of that situation, out of that cherry bowl, and go start somewhere fresh. It can actually save your life. I promise you, it can save your life. Even if it's a situation where you're making money with, your family members. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. At least from where I grew up, and I grew up in the church and everything, way I was taught is sometimes before you lose your life, you will see warning signs. And this might not be, I'm not saying, anybody in particular takeoff situation, but if you really have a connection with, you're praying, you got God, you start seeing things, because I had like a personal experience while I was hanging with guys I grew up with, and it got dark all of a sudden. It got like this darkness all of a sudden. I'm sitting here like, man, I gotta get up out of this. I gotta get up, because the dudes I was hanging with were always getting into it. Always, every single night we went to the club, we would get into it with guys over some girls or something like that. And I'm like, man, this is the definition of a toxic environment. Like, bro, we shouldn't be in these situations any longer. You know what I'm saying? We're not in school no more. We're not selling drugs or trapping like that. Why are we, dudes that got good jobs and credit, why are we in the same environments as some of these guys that's on the street level? Because of the girls, now we got to try to prove ourselves, right? That's guys that's willing to throw their life away. They don't care. They don't care being locked up for 20, 30 years. They have nothing going on. So why are you in the same environment with these guys? Because of the women? All right? Because everybody trying to get the same little group of, little women and everything? Nah, man. Get on up out of there, bro. Get on up out of there. I'm telling you what I know for myself being here for these years, bro. You can lose your life over something that fast just by being in the wrong environment, bro. Yeah. John Robinson, Alibu says, BMT Charles, I like how balanced you are in regards to topics like this. It's an important topic, bro. You get up there, you get a little older, you start to recognize some of the mistakes that you made. you clearly see that these younger guys are making the same exact mistakes. And you're like, damn, I wish somebody would have told me to change my environment. I did it myself. I had to, because if I would stay within that circle, probably would have been dead or locked up in jail. And we weren't even about that life, but it was just the environments we kept placing ourselves in, bro. You feel me? You go to a little party, a little house party in the hood, and you pull a certain female that some street dude like, he gonna try to, do some or say something disrespectful or do something bumping to you. It's the same thing in every little neighborhood, bro. All it's not worth it, bro. It's not worth it. Shout out to Uncle White, said shout out to BMT. So I'm gonna go ahead. Like I said, I'm not gonna be here that long today. I'm gonna go ahead and drop a link for the family. If people want to come on, we can discuss, changing your environment. I don't want to speak too much on Zoe's video. Like I said, we got a podcast today, so we're going to talk to him personally, so he can kind of really clarify exactly what he was saying. I mean, he was pretty cut to the chase in the video. But I'm looking forward to the podcast. It's gonna be off the chain, man. Shout out to the Passport Bros podcast with my boy Travelversity. His channel is growing. If you haven't checked his channel out, make sure to sub to Travelversity. Shout out to my dude Austin too, man. Me and Austin hung out a good amount of times out here in Thailand, man. He's definitely in love with Thailand. He just hit me not too long ago. He said, man, I had a great time in Thailand. It's good seeing brothers, young bros experience this type of lifestyle, traveling. Like I said, we all hung out, all went out for Halloween. We had a blast. The last thing first from our mind was guns and shooting. We know when we go out in the States, bro, at least me and the people I was around, for the most part, we got guns. They ain't going to be in the car. Sometimes they're going to be on us if we can get up in there. It's like, man, it's just fair. It's refreshing. It's just refreshing to be able to, just relax. Nobody's looking at you. You ain't got no beef from 3-4 years ago. Ain't nobody just fresh to get out of jail, looking for you or something like that. Ain't no dude you beat up 2-3 years ago going to be in the same little club, with animosity towards you. You got to deal with none of that because you're in a whole different environment, man. It's a beautiful thing. Dudes, do me a favor, man. If you could, man, I really like for you guys to cam up, man. Do me a favor. Cam up, man, because we want to see who we talking to. I'm not one of those shows that everybody just have little talking icons and we don't know who we talking to. So do me a favor. If you come on, cam up like your boy, man. All right. Mostly Money TV in a bit of my dude, Andre, once again from Love crossing border. Shout out to you once again with the Colombian pesos. The 4 mil, the 4 milli. Just be careful, Aaron. You're starting to, I guess, sound like me or to like me. I feel you, man. I feel you, bro. We all know how it go. We know how it go, bro. We definitely know how it go. And some of the environments that we all grew up in. All right. I'm trying to get to Thailand soon. Shout out to, we got Will in the building. Shout out to BMT and all the passport bros. Somebody said I like Young Jeezy. Yeah, I've heard that before, man. I've actually heard that a few times. Shout out to Jeezy. He's actually an old my little brothers. He's actually one of his homeboys. So yeah, shout out to Jeezy though. You know. All right, guys. So I just dropped a link, like I said before. Do me a favor and cam up if you want to have a discourse on the channel. All right. All right. I want to give a shout out to the Scoring Black Man podcast. We all got to attack serious issues. We have to attack serious issues within our community. It must be done. Yeah. Yeah, it's some serious issues we have in our community. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Somebody asked me about a consultation. Email me at blackmentravels@gmail.com, player. I got you. Just hit me up, man, on the email, blackmentravels@gmail.com. We got Big Will in the room. He says, what's good, fellas, man? We in here, man. We are in here. Excuse me. All right. Shout out to Delno Music in the building. He says, I had some experience coming home from my second trip to Spain. Or you just responding to somebody. Somebody says, I'm heading to Vietnam in 4 months. I need to get the hell out of the Matrix. All right. Yeah, man. Vietnam is cool. I've heard a lot of good things about Vietnam. Vietnam is beautiful, too. I had some friends that I met in Cambodia. They went on like, a bike tour. You can do some type of bike tour where you ride all throughout Vietnam. And I was just seeing the scenery on their Instagram. I'm like, man, Vietnam is beautiful, man. Southeast Asia is beautiful in general. You know, you get amazed by some of the buildings and the decorations. I mean, it's just like, wow, it's just so much history and beauty, especially in Cambodia. You know, you got not pyramids, I forgot what you call them, but you got these temples that's been there for thousands of years. So it's a lot of great history, man. And you start seeing it. It's just kind of like, it's a different type of feeling. Even going to the Sanctuary of Truth that was built like in the 80s, it's still like, it's something that kind of overtakes you like, wow, you're on the opposite side of the planet right now. You're seeing something that, you know, you would never thought you would see coming up from the environment that you grew up in, where it was cool just to go to California or go to Miami, go to New York. That was a big thing for cats in the South. Like, oh man, you went to New York. All right, man, you went to Baltimore. Oh, stop, you went to Cali. And now we're here and we all over the world, man. I love checking into the Facebook group, the Passport Bros Facebook group, and seeing, you know, just brothers around the world giving trip reports and, you know, telling me that their experiences in Spain and Portugal and Egypt and all that good stuff. Give me 1 second, family. Hold on 1 second. Let me pull this up.
As you can see, I'm repping that BMT. No matter where I go, no matter where I be.
Representing for my brother BMT.
Got my man Austin in the building. What up, bro?
What's good?
Travel is life.
This how we roll. Look, I just have to get off the elevator. Look at it. The BMT shirt on. You know, we representing all the way in Thailand, man.
This shirt is so dope, man. It shows off your guns, fits your muscles, gives you room at the bottom for the belly, and then you repping the BMT brand, man. So make sure y'all pick up that BMT shirt because it's fire. It looks good. We got them in different colors, and I'm telling y'all, man, the fit, it ain't that cheap bullshit. It's a real quality shirt, man. I love it, BMT. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for blessing me with the shirt. And I'll see you on the other side. You dig?
Yeah, go cop some new merch.
All right, we back, man. We are back. All right. So we ain't have nobody pull up, but it's all good. We're gonna still chop it up anyway. Pooh Man 313 with $2 super chat, man. I really appreciate that. App release date. The app is pretty much done, man. It's pretty much done. We got one more little part left, just the little formalities and stuff like that, like the little splash page and the little graphics and everything. So the app is on the way, man. Appreciate you asking that too. I'm excited about it. I'm definitely excited about it because, guys, I'm telling you, Facebook, whoo, boy, that group can get taken down at any time. Trust me. It can get taken out at any time, man. Right now, they're like taking down posts that we don't even get to see right now. Like they say Facebook has unapproved this post or something. So even before we even get to see the post right now, they're taking them down. You know, they really don't really understand, like, I guess the culture of going back and forth, and that's kind of like, you know, talking and everything, our dialogue amongst each other. They don't really understand. They might talk it as a hate speech or something like that. So I can't wait till we get this app, man, because I really want to be able to have our own private network and independent platform so we can kind of have a true discussions without Big Bro watching over us per se. All right, Global Passport, you in the building? Hold on. Let me get you here. Let me get you in here real quick, bro. What up, man? What's good?
What up, dude?
I know we got the interview later on, but you know, we'll talk about that when we're doing the interview, man. How's everything going with you?
Everything's going fine. How about yourself?
Man, everything is going good, man. Everything is going good, man. I just want to touch on this subject real quick because I was disappointed when I woke up. You know, had a great night. You know, Halloween in Thailand is dope. Had plenty of fun. You know, it was the costumes was crazy. Once again, like I said, shout out to Dante. You know, the brother owns a bar out here. There's a couple of black-owned businesses out here, actually. But we just had a great time overall. And to wake up to that type of news, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the Migos, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And just to kind of like read the situation of what happened, and the guy was pretty much, you know, get caught up in crossfire to lose his life and be a multi-millionaire of a dice game. It's just sad, man. It's just sad.
Yeah. My condolences out to the family. That's tragic. Yeah. And you know, it just seems like that there's a lot of violence within this hip-hop culture, and it was never meant to be like that. It was always meant to be an avenue to get away from poverty. But we're just starting to see that cycle of poverty, the things that happen in the streets happen in this arena, and it's kind of sad.
Yes, it's very sad. What up, Andre? What's good, my
What's
bro?
up, family? What's up? They're the men right there. Those are grown men. See, that's who he should have been around. Men that like these gentlemen on this panel. Bald men. Bald men.
Bald head gang in the building.
Bald is one of the signs that you on your way to becoming a grown man. You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
A bunch of bald brothers, we'd have looked out for him.
That's right. That's right,
brother. Your money too long. Let your money be. Let your life be as long as your money, brother. Let your life be as long as your money. Yeah, I can go ahead and put that one on the T-shirt because
I was going to take it from you.
Go ahead, brother. It's yours. It's officially yours. You know, I got a bunch more hanging out with the pimps and players of the East Side of Detroit all my life. But my point is you're absolutely correct in everything that you're saying, especially us being on the trajectory that we're on as passport brothers. We don't want to have interruptions of this brother's passed on because he did a foolish move, or that brother got because he did a foolish move. So I noticed that one of the things that you're trying to do, Aaron, and let me know if I'm freezing, brother.
No, you good. You good.
One of the things that I know you're trying to do with your channel is, you know, encourage guys not only on the economics of buying the proper flight and getting the right Airbnb in a great location, but also the psychological part of preparing yourself for these trips or preparing yourself to relocate to another country. because it's more than just hopping on a plane. You know, being a passport brother is more than just hopping on a plane with a passport in your hand. That does not represent us only. There's a lot more to being a passport brother and a blue book gentleman than just the tangible things. There are some intangible things, like Kevin Samuels used to say, there's a lot more to being a high value man than just your economics.
Facts. That's very fast. I want to welcome David to the show. You was just there, man. What happened? David, you
right here, man.
David,
what's good? What's good, man?
What's good, man?
Hey, wasn't Halloween legendary?
It was very legendary for me, especially.
Yeah,
man. It was very legendary, man. So I see, the point of the topic of discussion was basically how, basically changing the environment can basically just have an overall effect on your mental health. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what happened to me, because I decided to leave the United States over a year ago. I'm a veteran, so I was, financially stable enough to just go overseas. I first went to Brazil, then went to Colombia, and now I'm here with you in Thailand. And I can honestly tell you that my mindset has definitely changed a lot, especially when, I actually spent some time back in America, and I could just see how much I changed overall as a person.
Facts. That's facts, man. So, Andre, you say you grew up in Detroit, right?
East Side, yep.
All right. How was that environment? Like, how did you feel when you pretty much left that environment?
You know what? I I left that environment thugging. So, but let's put it like this: when I went back, I couldn't relate anymore. I was a whole new man. I was a whole new person. It's one thing, like, we sit back and say when we leave the United States and then we go back, we see ourselves evolving as a man. So it was with Detroit. Just going to Atlanta evolved me. Going to Chicago and going to Seattle and San Francisco. And then when I went back to Detroit, I was like, like I always say about the United States, and this is how I feel about Detroit. Detroit is the girl I took to the prom, but she ain't built like that no more.
Yeah, okay. I gotta piggyback off of that, because that's exactly how I felt when I got out of the military. I got out of the military about 5 years ago, but I honestly remember the day I got home, when hearing the ideology of all my homies and all my family, I just sat there and said, I just don't fit with these people, especially for me, because when I was in the military, I had lived in South Carolina, lived in Georgia. I was stationed at Fort Lewis, which is right by Seattle, and I was able to go to Austin, Texas. So I was able to really see a lot of things outside of my natural environment, and so that pretty much changed my mentality overall. And fast forward about 4 years, I just realized that maybe living overseas is a way better life for me overall.
Facts. That's facts. Now I want to ask you, Andre, and I'm gonna get you in the second Global Passport crew. When you left originally, did you feel like you owed somebody or anything like that? Like you owe old friends, your old circle? What I mean, your old circle.
You know what, Aaron? When I left, I felt I'm gonna put it like this, even to our culture. When I left, I felt I've even paid my debt to our culture. I was involved in volunteer programs, fundraisers. I was the one that was going to the NAACP black tie affairs. I was the one that I volunteered for Boys and Girls Club, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, YMCA, 100 Black Men. I think I paid my dues. I've stood when Black Lives Matter first started, and it was only just a few dudes and a couple women. I'm out there with a bullhorn, standing out there in the heat of Tampa on Saturday mornings and Saturday afternoons, speaking, spreading the word of that our lives matter. So when I got my passport and I left, can't nobody look back at my resume and say I wasn't there for our people. So even when it came to my city, when it came to my family and my community, I think I paid enough dues to where like Stokely Carmichael left and Angela Davis left. And a lot of famous civil rights leaders of the 70s and 80s got their passports and they left and they're still alive. And they didn't hang around like Martin and Malcolm and all the rest of those guys and get got. So at the end of the day, I paid my dues. And when it comes to my family, nobody can sit back and say that I owe them, or I let my community down, or I turn my back on my community, or you acting like the white man. And I say, anytime somebody ever told me, Andre, you acting like the white man, I say, you ain't looking close enough. I say, my job is not to act like the white man. My job is to get my life to the point where the white man want to be like me. His white wife want to be like me. His white kids want to be like me, and he want to be like me. So look closer at me. I ain't trying to be like the white man. I'm trying to get my life to where the point where white people want to, and black people and Asian people want to be just like me.
Facts. That's a good point. And say that quote one more time, bro. Let your life be as long as your money. What was that?
Yeah,
quote?
let your life be as long as your money. A lot of dudes have long money, but they got short lives. We're seeing these rappers just dying and dying and dying and dying. Yeah. Let your life be as long as your money.
Man, he didn't even make it. He didn't even make it to 30, bro. Tell these younger guys that your life really picks up at 30. You know, you think in your 20s, like, dude, it gets better and better.
Life, it is often said that your 20s are your sophomore years of life. The word sophomore in this original language is broken up into two forms. It means soft, meaning to be wise or insightful. More is where we get the root word moron. It means to, in this original language, in your 20s, you think you know, but you don't know nothing yet.
Know nothing yet, bro.
You don't know nothing yet. Anybody that's in their 20s,
you're still trying to find yourself as a man.
You know,
yeah,
but you don't know nothing yet. I remember watching reading a stat a couple weeks ago, guys. It said that the two peaks of happiness in most people's lives around the world, 23 and 64.
That's a big gap.
64. That means that we have a peak of happiness as men still waiting for us on the horizon. And some of these guys are given, because they passed up we've already passed up the 23 happiness and funness of 23, 24, 25. You think that life is peaked at that stage, but there is a level of life that is still waiting for you. Man, I love my 50s. I think I love my 50s more than I love I ain't gonna even lie. I love my 50s more than I love my 20s, because in my 20s I was in the feds. But in my 50s, let's put it like this, in my 30s, let's go. My 30s, I love my 50s more than my 30s because I'm accomplishing so much more on a global scale. I'm learning so much from a global scale. I'm not living the misconceptions that the United States tell me about how I'm supposed to be as a man or a black man. I can define it on my own. And I'm doing all this in my 50s. Man, please, I can have y'all little 20s, because y'all ain't, like I said, the definition of the 20s is to be a sophomore, and that means to be a wise moron. You think you know, but you don't know anything.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So man,
I could definitely attest to that, because as somebody, I'm only 27, and I'm in a position where I could actually semi-retire, although I still work and travel the world. But I always made it a point as though, when we're in Thailand here, or when we was in Brazil, I always made it a point to listen to you, because, like I said, I'm only 27. So I also know that I also have the awareness to understand that you know something that I don't know, and Andre knows a lot of stuff that I don't know, which is why, Aaron, every time I see you, I harass you, because you know something I don't know, and I want you to tell me.
There you go.
Yeah, man, it's a beautiful thing at the Mahu Bar last night. Shout out to Dante. You got every generation there. You know what I'm saying? You got Austin, who's 23, all the way up to, you got TaylorMade, you got some older guys, and we're just in there. And like, we don't do that in America. Like, 23-year-olds hang with other 23-year-olds in America. So you're not getting any knowledge. You just kind of going back and forth. I was told that you should hang with somebody older than you and somebody younger than you. You get some knowledge from somebody older than you, and you pass that down to somebody younger than you. We don't do that necessarily. That's what we used to do, but we don't do that anymore. Real quick, I know I got you, Global Passport. You've been sitting back there patiently. I know you got something to say. Hold on. Morris Lavelle, man, you in that dark ass room. What's going on, my brother? You good? You in the night space, man. Turn on the light or something, my bro.
He said,
"It's not R&B sessions."
Get a lighter in front of you.
Yeah, bro, you in the dark.
Right in front of you, man. You know the jokes.
I'm actually not in the dark. I'm on my balcony.
Okay.
I am on my balcony. I do have a light on. It's just over there. I'll put my
Okay, there
face
you
a little
go.
closer.
There we go.
There you
All
go.
right,
There
Hey,
you
so
brother.
yeah, so I just started getting into you passport brothers. I've had a passport for years because I used to play basketball in Europe for years.
Nice.
The history of me. I'm actually pretty much known. They know me as Big Mo. I was Anna Nicole Smith's bodyguard when she died. I'm a
okay.
firefighter right now. I'm about to retire,
Mhm.
and you're saying some real stuff. And like I said, I work with all ages. I work with the 23-year-olds all the way up to older than me in the
Mhm.
late 50s.
Mhm.
Uh, and I'm learning a lot now. And I'm on my second marriage. This is not working. So it's time for me to just get my groove back. I've had my kids, and
Mhm.
my son might be getting drafted next year.
Oh,
He's a
salute,
he's a
bro.
lineman, 6'9", 325, and I'm
Man.
and I'm I'm really feeling you guys, and you guys motivate me because at one point in my life I'm starting to get unmotivated. I've been doing stuff for everybody else all my life, you know,
Mhm.
and it's time now to there's a saying that I on Facebook that I posted that one of my coworkers had. It said, uh, when you honor yourself, you have to honor yourself. When you honor yourself, you will be someone bad guy in someone else's story. Something in that sense. Do you get what I'm saying? So this is where
Mhm.
I'm trying to get right now, and I need to talk to other brothers like you guys. And I'm just sitting back listening. I didn't really want to say anything. I
Okay.
just want to sit back and listen. Um, like I said, I mean, shoot, my name and my face gonna be out there again at the end of this year. I got a Netflix special coming on, being a bodyguard for Anna Nicole Smith, and
Oh,
I've
that's what's
worked
up,
with
man.
like, yeah, I've worked with Kanye West, Yee or whatever he wants to call himself now. I've worked with Will Smith before he slapped my man. So
Okay.
so if you ever looked on my Facebook, you'll see all the people that I've worked with. But man, you guys are doing some motivating things. I'm in my early 50s, and I'm ready to start living my life like it was supposed to be. Because you're doing stuff for so many people out there, you forget about yourself, and you're not good
Mhm.
to no one dead. You know what I'm saying? No one
Mhm.
dead. So you got to
Mhm.
make I have another post out there where I put with my son name, legacy. You got a legacy. I have my legacy now. Now it's time for me to live me. And I was listening
Mhm.
to Level Crossing Borders TV dude right there, bro. You saying some real stuff, and you really got me really motivated. And I really appreciate you guys. And
Mhm.
keep doing what you're doing, and you motivate the older generation as well as you do the younger generation, because you're never too old to learn. And that's why I try to
Mhm.
tell my kids. My son is 24 and my daughter's 26. I tell them you're never too old to learn. So once you feel like you've learned, I take it in a basketball sense. I played during the time Michael Jordan played. Michael Jordan always tried to improve his game up until the last game he played.
Mm.
And that's just how you got to do when it comes to life. So I really appreciate you guys, and thank you for listening to me for this one little thing on the show. Did you guys are inspiration to me too? So I'm gonna
Man,
sit
good
back in the
stuff,
dark
man.
like Keith Sweat.
I got you. I got you, man. That's a good point, man. Very good point, man. Congratulations on that Netflix special, by the way, too, bro. Congrats on that. All right, let me catch a super chat real quick by Big Wheel,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna
yeah.
get to you, Global Passport Crew. Shout out to Big Wheel with 5 super chat. He says, moved out my apartment yesterday. We'll be moving to Colombia in a month. Check out the progress on
All right,
Passport
countdown.
Gurus. Thanks to BMT for the motivation, man. Shout out to you, Big Will, for moving on down to Colombia, man. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to you. Global Passport Crew, man. Go ahead, man. You have the floor. You've been patiently waiting.
I gotta just piggyback on what Andre had said, because that's exactly true. What happened with my life, in my 20s, I was in college. I didn't do so well because I was acting up and stuff like that. Did graduate with a degree, but it wasn't a high GPA. When I got to Israel in my older years, I studied hard, just changed the things I was doing. I ended up a B average student, that was great. I was, really ecstatic. And now I just finished up my master's. It will be conferred onto me, and I will be graduating summa cum laude. And Andre's right. All these things I'm doing right now, it's happening in my late 40s, early 50s, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's been an awesome ride,
Mm-hmm.
and he's definitely right on that. Your greatest peaks will be in your 20s and your 60s. Right now, I can just see nothing but greatness happening
Yeah.
right now. He's right. He's dead on the money on that.
Facts. Let me catch a super chat real quick by the real Blackula. That's a hell of a YouTube channel, man. You must have
I
started
know,
it for
right?
Halloween. Shout out to you for the 5 super chat, man. He says, Aaron, Farris, and Panel, do you think the big 3 countries are becoming oversaturated with us, I guess, ninjas or brothers, what I say? I don't want to get too far off on a different subject, man. But to answer your question, I would say no as well. I would say no as well. A lot of these countries,
so
man,
much come down the turnpike. They think about it, Aaron. They just over the last 2 weeks approved the digital nomad visa for 2 years that a person could take advantage of, and so that's just starting. I mean, most guys that come down here, guys, do realize there's a difference between the expat passport, bro, and the tourist passport, bro. Most guys, I would say, good 60 to 80% are tourists. You come down, you save your money, you're flying to Thailand, you're having your fun, you're going back home, and then you might make the decision after a couple of years of relocating somewhere. But there are many of us like Aaron and other guys that have either chose 1 or 2 locations to actually have as our homes, our home base, or chosen 1 location to be our home base. We're expats. We travel the world. We create content. We learn new things about different cultures and things like that. So there's a big difference between the two. So for those that stay here, we are very, very few of us right now. So don't feel like if you're going to be relocating here, that it's going to be oversaturated in DR or Thailand or Brazil or Colombia or Mexico with so many expats, because the number is still really small of those of us that are expats compared to those of us that are tourists.
All facts, man. You
And just
got 30
back,
million tourists that come here. 30 million people come here to Thailand a year. So we're just a small little dent. When I go to immigration, I don't see any other black people. Just
to piggyback off that, we was talking about this on another channel. We're not a lot of people going to be able to do this because there's a cost involved in it. There's flight costs, hotel, all that stuff, and finding the time to do it, that's another issue. So, it's going to be that few of us that's going to actually be able to go out and actually be expats, or even just going down there just for, a week. That's the most they'll probably get, but that's it. And it's only going to be one-timers. It's not going to be somebody like Andre, somebody like yourself, or even me, who's just an international traveler, because it costs. It's a lot of cost, and a lot of people, especially with this recession and stuff, don't have that type of money to be going out and flying out and going to these other places.
No, that's very true. Like I said, I don't want to get too far off the subject, but hopefully we answer your question, bro. No, we're not ruining anything overseas. I know I hear that a lot, but it's just what they call it, fear of missing out. What they call it? FOMO, fear of missing out. All these guys going here now, so I can't go here because they're gonna mess it up. Don't worry, bro. Things is just fine as far as traveling. Let me catch the super chat real quick by my dude Tampa Twine in the building. Shout out to you, Tampa Twine. Shout out super chat, man. BMT, what's up, my bro? Keep changing the game, bro. Appreciate that, man. Tampa Twine was out there, man. We was out in the DR. He gave me the game, bro. He gave me the game. I was all messed up when I first got to the DR when I met Tampa Twine. I was telling all these women my business and everything. Easy. I was an easy lick before I met my dude Tampa Twine. Let's put it out. I was a walking lick. So shout out to my dude Tampa Twine, man, in the building. Now let me ask you this, Dre. I want to go back for a little minute. Did you and I don't want to get too personal with you online, but did you ever felt like you had to change your circle or your environment? I'm talking about in your younger days, in your 20s, stuff like that.
I never fit in my community, in my environment. I was a chess champion at 12 years old. I
Oh,
was
you been on
always
that
in the
chess?
sport.
Bro, you tell me that.
I was, I
play
was,
chess too. You gotta get at it.
yeah, man. I've been doing it for like forever, man. I
Uh-huh.
was an oil painter, so I always work with acrylics and mural designs and giant paintings,
Okay.
and so I was, you know, when you're an artist, you're kind of like off to yourself in your world of art. I was off into sports, football, so that gave me the ability to kind of like relate to. It's kind of funny. I can with the art world and the chess world, I can relate to the brainiacs, but with sports, it allowed me to relate to the every guy, the everyman. And so, being a part of the combination, I'll never forget when it came to my community. First girl I ever asked out on a date, she rejected me with a compliment. She said, Andre, she said, I would like to go out on a date with you. I was maybe 17 years old, right? This wasn't my first girlfriend, but this was the first time I actually asked somebody out on a actual date. And she told me, she said, you're the type of guy to take me to a nice restaurant. I'm just a female that wants McDonald's. And when she said that, it let me know, Andre, the caliber of women or people that you're going to have to relate to don't exist in your neighborhood. And I realized that at 17 years old, the caliber of people that life is going to take me to don't exist in my neighborhood. So it was a lot easier. My point is saying that story is it was a lot easier transition for me to let the hood go than the young man that passed on, because my hood had let me go. And a lot of times we don't want to admit that. Our hood have let us go long before we let it go. And so I was one of those guys that the hood say, you don't belong here. You bring too much to the table to be a part of what we're doing right now. So you can come back and volunteer, but this ain't you, bro. And I had to admit to myself, you're right. I am better than the communities that I grew up in and most of my people are in. And nothing better than I wasn't saying I was better than my people, but I was better than the situation that my people were in.
Good point. Good point. Global Passport Crew, you want to answer? Did you have to ever change your circle?
I totally agree again with Andre. The hood is what it is, you know. Everybody's talking about, oh, you got to represent the hood. I don't want to represent things that are negative. And I'm sorry to say it, but when you look at basically where we grew up from, there's nothing but crime and poverty and things like that. I mean, yeah, you can go back to the hood and start investing in the hood by putting businesses and things like that and helping it grow. But as far as the social stuff that's within, that wasn't me. You know, I wasn't that type of dude to be out drinking and partying. I mean, I went clubbing and stuff like that with my friends, but we weren't out in the street acting like fools and getting in trouble. And, you know, me growing up, my only interaction with cops was just, you know, like when I went to school, because I had classmates that were cops and we would sit and talk and things like that. But I had to get away from that environment for me to grow. And I've lived in Florida, I lived in Nevada, I lived in Utah, I lived in Colorado, lived in New Mexico, I lived in, right now I'm currently in Arizona. I lived overseas in Israel, and that really grew. When I was in the military, I was in Kuwait, I was in Iraq, and these things just mold me. These experiences mold me, and I grew. And the only way you're going to do stuff like that and actually grow is to get out of the hood, you know, and just pretty much stay out of there. I mean, look at you guys. You guys have evolved, and that's the thing. The hood people who stay in the hood don't evolve. Whether you got a job or what have you, you know, you're not going to evolve. You're going to have to get out of that space and see what's out there in the world so you can evolve and grow. Again, like when Andre said about in your 50s and stuff like that, that's from evolution. You accepting evolution in your life to grow and evolve, and look where you're at now. We have all grown.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I got a question here about Highlander 2016 with $1.99 super chat. Man, I really appreciate that. He says, BMT, would you have a land-based business overseas? Me personally, I wouldn't do that. I'm more of a digital guy. I like working on my laptop. I don't like too many employees. So me personally, I wouldn't do it, but it is possible to do it. I mean, you got guys making millions of dollars, overseas. So it depends on what country. Definitely do your due diligence. Every country is different, different rules, different laws. You gotta look at the laws up front, and you gotta see what type of how can I say this? You gotta see the laws on paper and the soft laws of that particular society. I just put it to you that way. I remember I was in Brazil one time, and it was this German guy. He was cool, but he was just saying he was down bad, and he was living in Brazil. And his father, a long time ago, had bought him and his brother an apartment to stay in, I guess, in Brazil when things got rough. And he was telling me that he had this big real estate deal in Italy. That was just going to be his deal. It was worth millions of dollars. And he did everything to get this deal, good. He did all his due diligence. That was what he was, a real estate guy. The Italian mafia came in and just no business in Italy if you're not connected. You feel me? They just came in, took him on up out of there. Not, hurt him, but just like, nah, you can't. You're not getting any money from this deal. It's the mafia. What are you going to do? Bye. So it was like, German on Italian. So you got to know like I say, the laws on paper in overseas, and you got to know what's really going on in the society or the neighborhood that you decide to open up that business in. And I think, unfortunately, that might have been what happened to the brother that was killed in Barranquilla as well. So you definitely want to know that. I don't know if you want to speak on that, Andre, about opening a business overseas. I think you're on mute.
As far as I'm like you, Aaron, I try to streamline my life as much as possible to be able to travel to as many places as possible. There are guys that are able to do that, such as, for example, you got Barber World. He's got his barbershops back in the States. You've got a Flip, a Flip Flop in DR. He owns a few restaurants. You've got the brother that owns Sweet Georgia Cafe in Colombia, in Medellin area. So there are guys that are very successful with brick and mortar businesses. But I do notice that they're moved for some of them. For example, Barber War has a manager, so he can maneuver globally. But let's just talk about the average person or average business owner. The average business owner can't do what Aaron and I do. They can't zoom to a Thailand and then come back to Brazil or Colombia at a whim. They can't do those things. So I love the fact that I could take my business with me under my arm in the form of a laptop, whether it be a affiliate marketing business, which is a great business, or whether it be YouTubing or any form of content creation, whether you're writing the great American novel. But to do brick and mortar, we've been subconsciously trained to go that way. And the second thing is, or lastly, being digital nomads in digital marketing and online businesses in the African American community, it's a really new concept. It's a new concept just in the United States to work online. U.S. citizens are used to getting in their cars, driving through crazy traffic, going to work, very little lunch break, go back home and start all over again. We're accustomed to that. So to do anything online on a continual basis, we're thinking we're doing something wrong. So we always run to brick and mortar. But as for me, I would never again in life do brick and mortar businesses. And I've had them and they just aren't for me, because at this stage of life, like I said, I want my life to be streamlined to where I can enjoy it. And if Aaron says, hey, Dre, I'll be down in Brazil, I could shoot down to Brazil, hang out with Aaron, and still earlier that day take care of business, and my business is with me no matter where I go. So that's why I enjoy, even if you don't have a business online, even if you work for somebody online, like a lot of IT guys, a lot of you guys that learn the IT and you're getting IT contracts and jobs, and you're not having to work brick and mortar anymore for anybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing in January. I start my training in cybersecurity, paid for by the VA and stuff. And once I do that, then I'm going to start looking at remote jobs overseas, or, working remotely, because there are companies out there, as long as you do the work, We don't care where you live. So there's that flexibility. And I'm looking hard at Colombia right now. Definitely to come down there and stuff like that. But those are great opportunities to take, and I feel you on the brick and mortar, because basically with brick and mortar, you're going to be dealing with a lot of silliness, like gossip and drama and all this other stuff. You guys as digital nomads, I don't have to deal with none of that, because you're your own boss. You make your own money. And, even me, to getting into the cybersecurity world, and I'll still work with people, but generally I'm in my house. I ain't got to put up with, the office gossip by the warden fountain and the butt kissing and all this other stuff. Just do my work and that's it.
Yeah. And that piggybacks off of what the topic of what Aaron was saying. I like how you put that. It keeps you, also being a digital nomad, keeps you out of certain environments. And it could be the simplest thing. The fact that we're no longer in rush hour traffic, meaning that our ability to get road rage and the next person get road rage, and we're in a problematic situation in the States where a lot of U.S. citizens have artillery. Let's put it like that. Is problematic now. Now that we're digital, that percentage goes down to almost like 0.00000 for us to be involved in those type of situations. Also, the stress of going through the traffic or everyday work or dealing with the boss, or you got to get this project done it's one thing to having to do it when you're at home. Okay, cool. I deal with that. And that project that needs to be completed at home. But it's another thing when you've got people hovering over you and you've got coworkers gossiping, and then you've got some female saying, well, he looked at me wrong, HR. You don't have to deal with that mess. So I love the world of online digital marketing and digital life and digital online work, because it really is the future of where the world is going, and whether you want to accept it or not. Before I seem like I'm babbling, Aaron, I want to give you an example. Being from Detroit, there were so many people that when technology came and they had the robotic arms and everything were coming to the factories in Detroit, everybody was like, oh, that's not going anywhere. They're going to get rid of those. Those are going to shut down, because we were so used to humans doing so many things. And I looked and I was like, I'm going to school for whatever computers have to do, because that's the future. And I'm having that feeling now, that same feeling I had when I felt that pulse of robots are going to replace people in the factories in Chrysler, Ford, and GM in Detroit. That's the same feeling I'm starting to have when it comes to online jobs, and online opportunities are going to replace just having brick and mortars. Ask Amazon, ask Walmart, ask a lot of these stores that made most of their sales through brick and mortar. Now their number one sales are Walmart online. They've got Cyber Sunday and Cyber Monday, because no matter if you want to accept it or not, the future is online employment, business opportunities. You guys will be ready to take advantage of it in the beginning right now, because now you got your passport, you've got a career or a business, and you can go anywhere in the world you want to now.
That's facts. That's facts. That's facts. I think Taylor Made coined it as having a laptop lifestyle. Laptop lifestyle.
Absolutely.
I love it, man, because when you're dealing with employees, especially, it's already difficult to deal with employees back in America, but dealing with them overseas is going to be you against them, foreigner against the local. I've seen it dozens of times in Brazil, where they'll work for 3 days and then they'll try to get unemployment, and then the judge will give them the unemployment because he's a foreigner. You know what I'm saying? The business should be owned by Brazilians anyway. And then, like in Colombia, a guy that owned a bar, his employees were stealing from him and talking about him in Spanish. He didn't speak the native language. He didn't speak Spanish, so he really didn't know what's going on. But, he has a bar out there. And I'm like, bro, my girlfriend at the time was just like, yo, they talking about him. I caught one of his employees stealing. So it's like, bro, you got to deal with a lot. You got to deal with learning a different culture. You got to learn the language, bro. Don't be one of these guys that own the business and don't speak the language, because they're going to take advantage of you. You know what I'm saying? If your employees can talk about you right around your face, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't know the language, then that sets a tone for the environment. And if they can talk about you, they can steal from you. You know what I'm saying?
And also, is their currency worth the investment? You come
Bro,
to
that's
Colombia.
man, I don't mean to interrupt you, Dre, but I've said this so many times, man. Get in Colombian pesos, Brazil reais, man. That shit, when you all compile it, it's like it's not what you think it's gonna be.
Not worth it.
And versus the American money. You're getting, because remember, you're taking your American money, you're investing that American money into a foreign environment, and you're receiving their currency. And Brazil has a horrible law, something where you got to pay U.S. taxes still too on that. So you're being double taxed. Brazil has the worst. They really want the businesses to be owned by Brazilians in Brazil. Colombia is a little different. But man, I'm telling you, man, I've seen it with my own two eyes. You think you're doing something. Oh, I'm seeing all these people in my club, my bar, it's crowded. Then you look at the end, you like, damn, I ain't even make no money because it's all in pesos.
Yep. Did you see the price of the peso today?
That's what now?
Did you see the price of the Colombian peso today?
No, I didn't check it there. What is it now?
5,000.
Oh man,
5,000. Yeah, 5,000 pesos to $1.
Yeah, they keep saying the American dollar is going to fall. I keep seeing all these YouTube channels. Oh, it's going to fall. I'm like, when?
Andrea said that the experts said that in the next few months, the Colombian pesos is going to be 6,200 to one. They say that's how much inflation is hitting here. We just went to the gas station, and you can see it at the gas station. Like as soon as it hit 5,000, the gas prices they switched everything like right then and there, man. The prices start going up.
Yeah, and
it
I think
hurt us. I mean, it's cool for us because we make U.S. dollars, but to sit back and see how it's affecting the average Colombian is kind of sad.
And see, that's the thing. Why if you're going to be an expat, you need to get these skill sets that's transferable. Like I'm doing cybersecurity. If I can work over there, I'm getting the U.S. dollars. I'm not getting the Colombian pesos and things like that. That's why it's very important to keep having that U.S. dollar going to your bank account, because if you're getting the other local money, you're going to be hurting. I was looking at cybersecurity jobs in Colombia, and they're making on average compared to U.S. it's like 34,000 a year. That's like, wow, that's a huge drop to what we're doing over here, which on average, just a beginner is making high 5-6 figures. So I'd rather have.
I know pilots in Colombia, man, that have to drive Uber.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I mean, the average surgeon and doctor in Colombia only makes $3,600 a month.
Yeah, man.
So to sit back and see what you can accomplish as an expat, and with that American business mindset that we all grew up with, that hustle, it's just a part of the culture of America. And then I'm not talking about hustle like selling a rapers on the side of the highway. I'm talking about that hustle of, I got a game plan and I think I can implement this thing. I'm talking about that hustle like Samuel Jackson go from being a crackhead to being one of the top box office draws of all time. I'm talking about that subconscious U.S. hustle that's like, if I get one break, if I can see that glimpse of light, I'm going to go for it. And so having that ability, that gives us a step up. And to sit back and see where the peso is, you can do so much with the U.S. dollar with the pesos, because it's at 5 year perfect example. When we first got this apartment, the rent has always been and I've always said, I've mentioned it before, Aaron, $420 for 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom. We're in zone 5, zone 6. We're right down the street from the mall. We've got a parking garage for our car. We've got security out front. We've got washer and dryer unit, brand new. We've got all utilities paid, all Wi-Fi paid, all cable paid. All that is included except for our furniture. We live right next to the Lemon Tree Park. And that's how nice it is in the neighborhood. Really nice neighborhood with nothing but beautiful homes that's owned by older people. Usually the gangsters buy their parents' homes in this area. That's what it is. And so, but to sit back and see our rent because of the cost of living go from $425 a month, it will be now $290. $290 a month, just because the U.S. dollar continues to do what it does. And because going back to what the brother just said, because we're making US dollars. So to come over here and making pesos, no, you're doing yourself a grave disservice. Get your knowledge, get your insight together like the brother's doing, and then take that knowledge and that ability on the road.
You said something else that was very important as well, man. I know when I was paying my rent in Colombia, my homeboy was like, man, you gotta check the exchange rate every time you pay something in pesos, bro. Like, you gotta check this, because I was just giving them, it's this amount, I pay that same amount, not knowing that, you paying more because the dollar actually fluctuate. Because in America we used to consistent, our rent is our rent, right? It's not gonna go down, nothing like that. But for us, it's like we got to actually check the exchange rate for that day. We got to do like it's almost a stock market. Like, okay, we are here today.
Yep.
I was like that in Israel. I was totally like that in Israel. It was funny because a lot of people look at me. It's like, oh, this poor black guy. It's like, I'm getting money from the GI Bill. They're paying for my housing and everything. I ended up being the rich kid, literally. I have one story that was funny. I walked into a store and I wanted to get some bacon, because I didn't know they sell bacon in Israel. So I was like, okay, after a year being like,
okay,
I need my bacon, because I got to eat them eggs with some bacons. So they cutting up bacon like it ain't nobody's business. And every time I would get like maybe a kilo, 2 kilos of bacon, which was like almost like a shipment of cocaine. But anyway, I used to get that and walk up to the counter. They'd be like, oh, this is very expensive. This is like 500 something shekels. I was like, yeah. And that 500 something shekels was actually $40. So, I got US money coming in. So paying for that much for bacon, I didn't care. I could have walked out with like maybe 1,000 kilos of sliced bacon and stuff like that. I had the money to pay for it because it wasn't that expensive to me, because I looked at it from, okay, how much is this going to cost me American dollars? Because that's what I'm going to be pulling. $40. Right. All right, whatever.
You make a real good point, because I remember one time I paid my rent in front of my girlfriend, and she was just like, "What? Like all this money to pay your rent?" She was like, "You're paying way too much money, to stay here in this neighborhood." Or and I'm just sitting here like, to me, $600 a month is cheap. You know what I'm saying? As an American, I'm paying $1,400 a month for a luxury apartment, and I think it was $1,700 for my mortgage when I got my mortgage. So it's like I went from that to paying half of that, and then it's even less than that depending on the currency rate. Let me catch the super chat real quick by Delano Music. Shout out to you, bro. $10 super chat. Appreciate that. He says, I can see a decrease in African American travel due to the recession. Most people don't know how to save for trips. Black men, be honest and remove yourself from toxic environments. Live beyond the curated lie sold to you. Great super chat by my boy Delano Music.
That's a great point.
Yeah, very good point. Very good point. Shout out to Vernon DP with $10 super chat, man. I really appreciate that. He says, I was in Germany when the euro hit. In 6 months, my apartment went from $750 to $1,000 in less than six months. I knew it was time to go. So I guess that's the opposite side of it too. You might have to pay more. So yeah. I mean, that happens.
That's a good point.
That happens. Usually in South America and Asia, it's the other way around. At least Southeast Asia. All right. Well, all right, fellas. I'm gonna go ahead and sum up the show, man. I appreciate you coming on the panel. We've been at it for about an hour 35 minutes, man. I want to give a shout out to everybody for joining. A great show today. I'm gonna get everybody's closing statements, and we're gonna be on up out of here. I'll start with you. Go with Passport Crew.
Okay, I need to know what time we're doing our interview for this weekend.
Oh man, you got to hit me on that, bro. You hit me on that one.
All right,
my WhatsApp. Just hit me.
Okay, and Dre, I gotta do a consultation with you. That's now a must. So, I think your email's on your YouTube page.
Yeah, just hit me up on A Spence 2011. Spence SP as in Paul. SP or ASPENCE 2011 at Gmail.
Okay, cool. Definitely got to do
Yeah,
a consultation with you on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, great show. You guys are I always go to you guys because you guys know the up and up. I got guys on TikTok right now, just living in not in the fantasy land, but there's a lot of things they're not taking in consideration. So as long as I keep coming over to here, I get a little bit more context and stuff, and I try to share it with them. But I think they're on the, they're not looking at it realistically. But we definitely need to do better in our environment. And to the individual that got killed today from the Migos, my condolences to his family. But we definitely need to do something in our environment and change that. And I think traveling is going to be the answer, because they'll be focused more on seeing the world as opposed to dealing with the drama of the ghetto. So,
yeah, man, it's a very sad situation to lose your life over $7,000, and you're a multimillionaire. You shouldn't even be in that environment where $7,000 even matters. So. Very unfortunate situation. I want to give a shout out to the Flyboy Way. How do I do it? FLYBOYWAY.
Don't ask
why.
Flyboy.
Yeah, why ask why? She said you gotta change your mind before you can change your life. Same mindset in a new environment is just a temporary fix, bro. You said some truth right there, because I know, as Andre knows, I've seen some dustiness overseas too. I do see guys going over there. They just, they bring some of that toxic stuff. I've seen it all throughout Colombia, man. When I was, every country I go to, guys, they in their 40s get hooked up on cocaine and partying and drinking too much, doing Tootsie. I'm like, bro, why you wait this late? You supposed to wild out in your early days, not your older days, bro. So people sometimes they'll say something like, man, it's the young guys messing up the travel space. No, it ain't. No, it's not. It's not the young guys. It's the older guys too. All right, it's the older guys as well. But you have the floor, Drake. I didn't mean to get too far.
No. You're absolutely correct. So, guys, when it comes to travel, make sure that you are, you take care of yourself. You're safe. Don't run in the wrong circles. I know she fine. I'm gonna say this again. I know she fine. But everything that glitters is not gold. And in South America and Southeast Asia, there are so many options that you can choose from that you don't have to gravitate to just one or two types of women. So make sure that you do that. Secondly, make sure that you have somebody in your cell phone that's worth being in your cell phone. At least one person. When you're traveling, you should have some person that's of a network form. Like if anything, if you need information on getting your ID in Colombia, that woman should be able to tell you how to do that. If you need information on opening up a bank account, that woman, at least one of those women in your phone, at least have one woman in your phone that's of quality network connection. Whether you mess with her or not, it should be one quality person, whether it be male or female, in your phone in these countries. Lastly, continue to work with individuals such as Aaron. He does consultations in several cities, not just Thailand, but he also does them here in Colombia. He also has information in Brazil. So make sure you reach out to him. A lot of guys, especially in the Black community, I know we're new to consultations and how they work. Realize, I promise you, I've done consultations before I came to Colombia and before I went to other cities. It saved me a world of headache and a world of wasted money because I went to brothers like Aaron and I got my consultation. So make sure you guys take advantage of this knowledge that these brothers have. It's not just about the party knowledge, but it's also knowledge about how to maneuver in these countries.
Good point. Definitely. Like I say, if I would have did a consultation before I moved to Colombia, I would have saved myself a ton of money, because I was moving way reckless when I first got there, because I just didn't have the information. I just lucked up to be around, other expats to help me out, look for an apartment, all that stuff. So when you move into another, that's one of the things you really need a consultation for. Not game, but when you really decide to move to another country, you definitely want to get a consultation, bro. Because I'm telling you, especially like I say, in environments and like in everywhere you want to get a consultation, but in particular like Brazil, you look at them pictures on your phone. You're like, oh, I like this apartment. I'm a get a lease and live here. And then you go there, it's the size of a closet with roaches and asbestos and all that. So trust me, Get your consultations. I got one more question. Super chat here by Vernon DP. 5 super chat. I don't know if you want to answer this. It's on you. Global Passport. He says, "Where are you at in Arizona? I am FT. Who?
Fort Huachuca. Fort Huachuca.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's I trained at Fort Huachuca. That's the military intelligence training facility. I am in right now in Mesa. Fort Huachuca, we call it Fort Hoochie Coochie because everybody was chasing girls and stuff like that instead of training. So he's at Fort Hoochie Coochie. Yeah. He knows that joke. He definitely knows that joke. Yeah, I had some fun time in Fort Hoochie Coochie. Yeah. But yeah, even with him, he's more likely in the military or maybe at we also have a border patrol station over there too. So I don't know which one entities he's with, but yeah, he's about 2 hours, about 3 hours away from me.
Okay, cool. And shout out to my dude Zoo Travels once again. He was out there in Brazil with me. He's just doing Tutsi in your 40s, man. Bro, I know dudes that was selling Tutsi out there, expats. I'm just sitting here like, what are you doing, bro? Like, what are you really? I'm telling you, man. I got some funny stories for you guys, man. All right, guys. Appreciate you coming in. Appreciate everybody on the panel. Andre, Global Passport. Another great show. Till next time, bro. Salute. Peace.
Peace.